Welcome back, friends. In this video, we're going to talk about how we can add a property to the object. All right, so let's create an object called colors. So I'll say var colors equal to an object. And to add a property, inside the object, I can say, for instance, orange, and this can be an object. And inside of it, I'll say code is 1, 2, 3. So we can add a property like this. We know that. So let me just delete this part. So now to add a property, we can say colors.orange equal to, now I could put a string here, or 1, 2, 3, or this property becomes an object, so curly braces, and inside of it, code is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so at the moment, we added an object inside of this colors object. So I'll say console log.colors.orange.code. I'll save this, go to the console. Here, I'll refresh the page, and sure enough, we see 1, 2, 3 in the console. All right, so that's cool. Now let's go back to the code again. So now I want to add another property to the colors object. So I'll say colors.black equal to an object, and inside of it, I'll say code. This time, the code is not going to be a number, it's going to be an array. So I'll put my square brackets, and inside of it, I'll write 4, 5, 6. All right. Now let's reach that code. So down here, I'll say console.log colors.black.code. So save this and go to the console, refresh the page, and yeah, we see our array. All right, so let's go back to the code. Let's say that I want to reach the second item of this array. So all I really need to do here is just add square brackets here, and inside of it, I'm going to write the index of the item that I want to reach, in this case, 1. Save this, go to the console, and yeah, we see 5 in the console. And we'll go back to the code again. All right, so these are nested statements. So now I want to compare arrays and objects. So let's start by comparing them conceptually. So you got to remember that an array is used to store a list of data, and we add things to an array. Now there's a very specific and a particular order for an array. Every item is bound to an index that we refer to. And the first item is bound to index 0. That means the next item is bound to index 1, and so on and so forth on up. So an object, on the other hand, is not a list, so there is no particular order. However, key value pairs are really important. So in some languages, objects are called dictionaries. You might have heard that before. Now, the reason that I bring that up is that I think the idea of a dictionary is pretty helpful here. If you think of a dictionary, it has a bunch of key value pairs, right? It has words and then corresponding definitions. So we'd look something up based off a key, and we get a corresponding value. Okay, so now let me show you a different example here. So down in here, I want to create a variable named blog posts, and this is going to be an array. So if you think about Facebook, where we have posts like blog posts, and each of these posts has comments. So let's start by representing. So let's talk about how we might represent that data. So this is going to be a complex structure here. So our website will have an array of posts. So each post will actually be its own object, and will have properties like title and author and maybe comments or votes or likes. So we're going to start by doing an array of posts. And then we're going to make each blog post an object, and each blog post object will have its own properties, like title. You follow? So we created our array here. Now inside of it, I'll make an object, and inside of it, I'll say title as key. And our title is weather today. Whether or not tomorrow. No, just weather today. Then our second property is content. So I'll say content here, and in it we'll say it is rainy today. All right, so we have created our first blog post. Let's add another one. I'll put my curly braces, and inside of it I'll say title, and it is weather again. And second property is content, and it is I do not like weather this time. All right, so we've created an array of posts. Each post is an object. So this is a structure that you're going to see all the time. So we'll have a list, and each item in that list is its own object, whether it's an array of comments or an array of posts or an array of friends, where each one is its own object. So when we build web apps, we'll see this all the time. Okay? So now let's reach out to the first object. And to do that, I say console.log, and inside of it, I'll say blog posts, square brackets, and 0. Save this, go to the console. And here, when I refresh the page, we see our object. Okay? So now let's go back to the code. And now, if I want to reach the title of this object, all I have to do is just add .title here. Make sense? Cool, so let's save this and go to the console. Refresh the page, and we see our title, weather, here. Okay, so go back to the code. So now let me just show you one more thing that we can do here. We could actually embed an array of comments inside of each individual post. So I'll say comments as a key, and the value would be an array. And now let's say we could have 2 comments, and I want these comments to be an object as well. So inside this array, I'll put my curly braces to make it an object, and inside of it, I'll say name as key, and it is John. And a second key is last name, and let's call it Travolta. Okay? So this is the author of the comment. Now, let's add another object to the comments array. So I'll put curly braces, and inside of it, the name is Frodo. Last name, Baggins. So let's reach out to the Frodo name here. And how do we do that? Well, hopefully it's very simple. You do know this. We need to go step by step. So down here, I'll say console.log blog posts, square brackets, and 0. So right now we've reached to the first object of this array, yeah? Then I'll say .comments, and that means I will be in this comments array at the moment. Now in this array, I want to reach to this object, and the index of it is 1. So I say square brackets and 1. Okay, so now I'm in this object, and that means I can reach Frodo. I say .name. Okay, so let's save all this. Go to console. And look at that. Here we see Frodo. Now let's go back to the code. So what you're looking at here, friends, is a complex data structure. All right, so we created a complex data structure, and I think we learned how to reach data within this complex data structure. You might want to go back to review step by step, but what we'll do is pause here and we'll continue in the next section.